Hello and welcome to another episode of the Talking of Minds podcast. Many of us may have seen the iconic dialogue of Luke, "I am your father," from the Star Wars movie universe. We may have seen it in many memes or many other places, and some of us right now, already know that this was not the actual dialogue that was used in the same in that scene. Some of us may have not come across this difference between what we remember and what was actually said. And this phenomenon is related to something called the Mandela effect. Now, Mandela effect is not a cognitive bias or a pretty scientific term or something. It's more of a pop culture phenomenon. Mandela effect is many people, sometimes lakhs or even crores of people having the same specific false memories related to certain items, certain brands, or as we said, movie dialogues, or even people. Uh, so the main feature is that this is a false memory, something that is different from what is actually what the fact is, and the same specific false memory will be shared by a lot of people at the same time. Now, this term of Mandela effect was coined by someone called Fiona Broom. She's a paranormal researcher, or a person who claims to be a researcher in paranormals. And she described this about her own false memory of Nelson Mandela, dying in prison in the 1980s, or maybe early 90s or somewhere. And she did this. She discovered this in around 2009-10, and she also found that many others, thousands of others, also share the same memory about Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s. And she, in fact, remembered a lot of other details, such as probably, listening to the news on the radio, or seeing the, ceremonies in TV, or many things. And she found that many other people also shared these false beliefs. In fact, Nelson Mandela was alive back then, and she used some paranormal uh, hypothesis to explain this. She used the examples of, or the concept of parallel realities or multiverses, etc. But we know that this is not the case. But there is something, something called the Mandela effect. uh, so the Mandela effect that she had is about incidents in the life of a specific person. We have a lot of Mandela effect examples for movie dialogues. There is also another set of Mandela effect phenomenon called the visual Mandela effect, where the false memory happens around things that are visual in nature. For example, brands or characters in movies. Uh, a famous example is that of Kit Kat, the chocolate, the name of the logo of Kit Kat having a hyphen between the kit and the cat. That is how most of us may recall the Kit Kat brand logo. But in fact, there is no hyphen in between kit and cat in Kit Kat. We insert this hyphen probably because both the K's are in capitals, and we treat them as two different words, or two units, and put a hyphen in between because of the way we pronounce that name also. For the Pokemon fans, there is also this the picture of Pikachu having a black portion of the tail. In fact, for the actual Pikachu, there is no black mark. The tail is entirely yellow, if I remember that color exactly. So these are there are many other examples of visual Mandela effects that we can find, especially related to brand logos and all that we can find on the internet. Now we'll try to understand what are the possible causes of this particular phenomenon. So one example, or one theory that is used to explain Mandela effect is the schema theory. Now, schemas are cognitive frameworks that we use to help organize and interpret information about the world around us. We have schemas for a lot of things around us, and we organize all the memories related to this particular concept under this schema. So we may have a schema for a car, or a schema for a train, or schema for life events and all. And the schema for a car, for example, is the umbrella under which we store different kinds of information about a car. Every time we come across it. Uh, for example, we may have a schema for dogs. And as we know a lot about new kinds and breeds of dogs, we may expand the schema with more detailed information, and then we start probably making sub schemas, for different kinds of. If you are somebody who is very much interested and have a lot of information about dogs, you may have many sub schemas. Similarly with cars, if you have a very crude information or very very basic level information about cars, your car schema may not be much detailed. So that is how schemas work. So with schema theory, we explain Mandela effect is that we omit the unfamiliar details, and we adjust our memories to fit our schema. So, for example, like the Kit Kat example. So we know it fits our schema better if we put a hyphen in between the kit and cat for many other reasons. Uh, there have been experiments that have shown that people actually alter our memories to fit existing schemas. So when we are presented with a new kind of information, visuals or videos or dialogues or words, we when we remember or when we store this information in our memory, we modify certain areas of these things to fit our schema, rather than editing our schema to include these new kind of information. So for example, we remember videos or pictures of people doing different things based on our gender roles, or how our schema, how our schema presents gender roles of what is expected by from men and what is expected from women, and those kind of things. So that is how uh, we modify our schemas. And the kind of errors that we make with these Mandela effect things are not really, very serious. It does not make much of a difference whether you remember Kit Kat with a hyphen or not, or whether you exactly remember the Darth Vader dialogue of Luke, I'm your father. So there is no need to change them. That's why they stay there unless and until someone points out the discrepancy between what you have remembered and what is the truth. And there is also this element of social influence. So we may have a particular kind of memory about a person or an event or something, but when you see that everybody else around you, or when you see when it seems that everybody else has a different kind of memory about this specific thing, we just change our own memories when without us knowing. No, that's not a conscious process. That's how social influence will have an effect on Mandela effect. And then there is the issue of false memories and confabulation. That our memories are not fault proof mechanisms, less like replaying a recording or something. When we remember things or when we recall things, every time we recreate them, whatever be that, memories of our childhood experiences, or whatever. uh, and we associate them with many emotions also. And these emotions will also have a role to play about how we recall these informations. So false memories do happen. We change facts and we change details of memories according to different internal or external influences. So there is this famous example of lost in the mall experiment, where participants were presented with vague details about their childhood events. And these details about these events were collected from their mothers or parents, or people around them. uh, these people themselves do not have much of a detailed recollection of these events. And when these participants were presented with four events from their childhood, three of them were actual events and one was a false event. So the false event would be related to them being lost at a shopping mall, and then another person, probably an elderly lady or somebody, finding them and returning them to their parents. So this event, this kind of an event did never actually happen in the lives of any of these participants. But in the experiment, around 25% of people actually recalled such incidents. And they actually, what they actually did was they created memories based on the cues given by the experimenter. And some of these recollections were very detailed, very graphic kind of recollections of what happened. This is how confabulation works. We make up new memories. And this is not a conscious process. We are not actually lying. We make up these memories and they are stored there. And unless somebody tells you that this was a false cue, you may remember that for the entire life. So the point is that memories are not foolproof mechanisms. Memories have these kind of errors in how they are processed and how they are stored and how they are recalled. So these are the things, these are the factors that may explain this phenomenon of Mandela effect. And the question is, why do we study this, or what is the need for, if these are not very very serious things, why do we need to study about them? The thing is about this, memory is not a foolproof mechanism. There are ways in which memories of people can be uh, modified. And if it in the lost in the mall technique, it was about individual participants. But when it comes to Mandela effect, we can see that even lakhs of people can have very wrong recollection of events or things, or any kind of truth. So this phenomenon could be used for even political propaganda or spreading misinformation about people, and actually making people believe that these are the truth. So we need to be aware of these kind of phenomenon, to be careful about what we actually remember, or what we actually think that we remember. And probably there would be times when we may need to look back and actually verify whatever we think that we remember, with details, because our memories are, as I said, in fact, not infallible. So that is what I had to say, share about this particular phenomenon of Mandela effect. And the actual dialogue in the Star Wars movie was, "No, I am your father," and it was not, "Luke, I am your father." So thanks for listening. We'll meet in another episode with more interesting details on psychology or mental health. Thanks for listening.